All right, I'm gonna do a little intro, y'all. What's up, and welcome to the Quantum Gang Thanksgiving special study session. We're gonna just do this little quick kind of run through for all the new members to the Quantum Gang. And I was just going over what triggers the buy and sell signals for quantum and the levels. So we had someone here ask, what are the dashed lines? And the dashed lines are our quantum levels. If you zoom in, you will see where these levels get created are where the action lines cross. So our dashed lines are our 1 minute, our solid lines are our 5 minute. For gold, the only thing you will change for gold if you trade gold in your quantum settings is the time to SR lines will be the 2 minute instead. So gold does not respect 5 minute levels like NQ does. All right. Yes, you're right. I should do that. All right. So gold does not respect 5 minute levels. Gold respects 2 minute levels. And I found that out when I was testing gold out and I was looking at the 1 and the 5, and it did not give a damn about the 5 minute levels. The 1 minute creation would rip right through them. Then I started testing other time frames, and the 2 minute was what respected gold. And the same thing that I look for NQ, right? The stack levels. If y'all aren't familiar with stack levels, I'll briefly go over it, but you can find a lot more detail on one of my older videos, not even that old, where I go over the A++ setup and the stack level formation. Stack levels is just a creation of a 1 minute and 5 minute level near each other, right? Very close to each other, and you tend to see a pump up. You'll see a pump up, or you'll see a push down, right? Here's your 1 minute level, here's your 5 minute level. When they line up, you'll get a move down. Here's a little bit of a retest, and then there's your continuation push down. You'll see this both ways. Here's a fresh stack level that got created at around 8:30, 8:20, 8:30. There's that push up to where, right? That level up here, that just happens to be a stack level as well. So that's what a stack level is in a nutshell. Okay, advanced reads are my favorite setups to look for when these candles are large, but you still want to be cautious because when the candles are large, they get retraced heavily, just like we see here. This candle right here, bigger than the last 3-4 candles, got a little push up, then it came down to retest that level, right? This is where I like to potentially test these entry points to see if that level will hold attached to one of our strong bullish candles. Stop loss right below this line, that little orange red line, that's your stop loss line. I don't hover it right on that line. I give it a point or two of extra room. If I have a swing high or swing low nearby, I'll place it right there. So you wait for your retest, your entry anywhere around here, your stop loss right below that blue candle, right below that swing high, swing low, and you're looking for that push up for that level to hold to continue the move. Okay, that's what an advanced read is. Those are the lowest risk entry plays you will find. All right. So I had to go over that again. That was everything in a nutshell. Okay, so right now we are at 926. I want to see if there's any kind of opening volume, but this was a nice sauce box play. Again, sauce box is an extra confluence. I teach my students. That's a little thing of mine that I love to use. Bottom of sauce box, big blue candle. It's been bouncing. Oops, I moved it again. It's been bouncing off of it all night. Broke out here, then popped back in. Caught that little long right there. Keep moving that damn thing. I gotta lock this thing in place. Hold on. I'm gonna lock it. Boom. Okay. There we go. Just learned about that not that long ago. I know I'm an idiot. Next, right, the levels. How do we look at levels? The levels are areas of resistance or support. Right now, this is what I narrate during Power Hour. If you guys are listening to me during Power Hour, I'm narrating two things, either candle level or level levels. Okay. On occasion, depending on where the trend is, the red and the green that you see is the cloud. That's kind of our trend guidance. I'm not always looking at it on the 1 minute time frame. I more so look at it on the 5. Right? If you zoom in on the 5, because this is something I see a lot, right? Look at where that level is up here and look at where that 5-minute downtrend is. It's lined up with that level. So when something like that is lining up, that's an area of interest for me because I have the downtrend on the 5-minute holding off in this area plus a level. So one of two things. I'm either going to expect a good rejection point here, like we saw earlier, or if it breaks and it flips, right? If that trend gets flipped, there's going to be a potential push up. Right? How far up? I do not use levels as TPs. Be cautious with that because the levels, right, if they are strong, they will not touch always. Depends on the strength. We don't know the actual strength. I more so look at the strength if they're attached to one of our candles. If they're not, it doesn't hold as much strength or weight, but it could still show some sort of resistance. So you want to be cautious. Okay. Yeah, I just learned that a little while ago, guys, that the locking the drawings, because I kept moving them over and over again. Someone's like, "Oh, you can lock the drawings." I'm like, "Oh, how do you do that?" Oh, the little lock thing. I'm like, oh, "I'm an idiot." All right. I want to see if there's any 930 volume at all, even though the banks are closed. I'm keeping an eye because right now it's doing this little range thing on the 5 minute. Just back and forth. Right now it needs to hold this 301 or this 300. But it is kind of pushing down right now. We're going to get a potential cross down here. The 5 minute is still very tight as well, right? I got soft spots in play. I got more areas here to hold. I mean, it's kind of stuck in between. So we'll see what this looks like as we approach 9:30. All right. Do you use 1 minute soft box or 2 minute soft box on NQ 1 minute chart? Scarface, soft box talk, we keep that in the Maestro Gang channel, okay? So I won't be discussing soft box stuff at all in the quantum study sessions. This is all about quantum, Saucebox student stuff. Okay, so if any of you guys were lucky enough to watch my video that I mistakenly put up, like I said, that was a one-on-one session I mistakenly posted. Please keep that information to yourselves because that's not something I should have posted. And that was a mistake of mine, and I deleted it as quickly as somebody told me what I did. There were about 40 people that watched it and did not tell me what I did. So, it is what it is. It was my mistake anyway. I took it down fast, but that's for students only. So Saucebox talk, stays in the. All right, so we are getting 930 volume. All right, look at that. Held that level right now. Held that little push down to 300. Now let's see what it looks like. If there is some volume at 930, okay. If it breaks 310, that's the next area up. I want to see this purple candle, right? This will be a failed bearish move if it breaks over. I just posted the last study session video explaining these. Potential failed bearish move or potential opening range. So one of two things. But again, we are stuck in between levels, so this is pretty tight. Very similar to how I read MOC. All right, I look for level creations, I look for levels to hold, and then I look for the pop. That's literally MOC is pure quantum level reading and candle reading. So next, if it can break 310, 315, we can break out the box. We got some room up. All right, there's 310. Let's see if it gets more strength to push up a little further. Or if it's going to test this downside. This is opening. I don't trade openings that much, but I love to watch it. So I want to see if this comes down and this can hold this 305, the break of this bearish candle right here, this 306, 305, or if it just could keep going too. This will be the next area, this 309, 310, same purple candle here on the 5 minute. Then if it breaks 315, next will be up here, that 320 pocket. Then you would have the next area if there's enough volume to break through. There's 315. All right, there's the top of 315. Let's see if it can muster up some strength to push through that. And you can see how it's holding off, right? Like this is stuff that, again, I see it all the time, right? Look at where the orb line is, right at the level, like spot on. I see this all the time, right? This bottom side of orb, right, hovering above here. So an orb break wouldn't be a clean orb break for me until it breaks through and then rips through 320. There's only about 4 points move if it does break, so I'll be cautious there. Not that much volume really, so it wasn't that much of a push. Because from the bottom here, where before it opened, that was about a 15-point push. That was all it mustered up. 15-point push, and then boom, that was it. Stopped right at 315. Now let's see if it can form a potential 3-bar up here. Gold is just hanging out as well. All right. So anybody has questions, right? These study sessions are the time to ask anything you're not sure about, anything you don't understand. These are the times to ask these, so that when you guys are using quantum, you know exactly what to look for. You're not gonna have to question entries or wonder where to get in, right? Your stop losses, everything is there. If you are in a short and you break a purple candle, you shouldn't be in the short anymore because that's a failed bearish move. So one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to continue to go the opposite direction, or it's going to start ranging. When you see your blues and your purples back to back, that's a range. This is a quantum study session, Ken. So it's on the top. It says quantum study group. So I'm doing this session because we had an influx of new members come in. Max showed off quantum over the week, so I wanted to sneak in a little introduction study session for all the new people. All right, here's the break of 315. Now needs to hold, right? Here's the thing about these solid lines. Do not play these solid lines with a 1 minute break, right? These solid lines need a 5 minute break to hold above for it to be a solid break. A 1 minute candle will not break that 5 minute. So you have to be cautious with that as well. Right? You're up against a stack level, so this is a strong little area right here. The in between, I call these pockets. The in between 315 and 320, that is a pocket. So you have to be cautious. This pocket right here, nice rejection off 317, pulled back a good amount. You want it to break 320 and hold, and you want the 5 minute to also hold above 315.75. Okay. Low volume. Remember, we're closing early today. Expect some chop in range. Okay. Can you use a pink and blue candle for each time frame to create a range? Yes, 0 degree. So you could use, again, right? You could do the 5 minute. You could do a 5 minute range. Now that blue candle on the 5 minute did break that purple. All right, boom. So you draw the top wick of the purple, bottom wick of the blue. This will be your 5 minute range. If you zoom out right up here, both blue and purple, this would have been your 5 minute range over here. All right, top wick. I include wicks on our candles. The wicks on our candles do count. And here you would have seen kind of almost the same thing, right? Here's your break. Here's your move. Here's your retest. That level held. And here's your continuation. Let's see if we see the exact same thing happen right here, where that blue candle broke this purple one right here, right? But we're still going to go up against this guy up here, right? This is how I'm cautious with range, chop, and all that fun stuff. And you guys will develop your own little kind of things. And I'll go over a little bit of that secret menu item that I've gone over a few times already with quantum, with the purple candles in specific, on how they get retraced. So now you want to see it hold above that 310 that it broke, and then you want to see it continue. So now it's breaking back in, so it could just be re-entering that little previous range zone. Holding on to that pocket. Or again, it's a very tight little pocket right here. Very tight little pocket. Not enough room to really scalp too much. I mean, 5 points at a time maybe, but not a whole lot of room. I love when the ranges are wide. That's where I eat the most. When the ranges are wide, I eat. So normally, right, if this broke back in, and if there was more room, not just like 9 points, 5 points, if there was a lot more room, I would play the short on the break in. This is usually what I see happening. The break back into the range, that's usually what you see. That's how I eat on the chop. When you guys see everyone is like, oh, it's chopping, and I'm posting, ha 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 ha. This is what I do. It just breaks back in, and you have your guidances and your candles, the levels. This is a hard push down. This breaks through 96. If this breaks through this pocket right here and the box, there's a lot of room down. What time is it? 3:39. But this is an area where it's been bouncing all night, so I would be cautious. So this is a big purple candle. I'm gonna expect a little bit of retracement back to 305, but that's only about 7 points. So we'll see how it kind of pulls down, and I'll see if this gets some retracement up to here. 5 minute is looking like it wants to push down some more, but again, needs to break these two levels right here. So here we go. Let's see if this pushes back up to test that 304, 305 area, or if it's gonna just continue to push down. This is an area, again, I'm going to be waiting, because if it does hold and break below here, it's going to be very, very, very bearish. At the moment, it is holding. And now it needs to stay underneath 301. If it pops back over 301, good chance it's going to push right back in, right? This is that little blue line. Oops, I didn't draw the line on the 1 minute, right? It's very tight, guys. Remember, right now, low volume, very tight. This is low volume, so everything's going to look clustered up right now. Pops back in here. Good chance it'll challenge some of that center. If it continues to stay below it, good chance we might see some continuation down. Looks like it's holding off below it. Yeah, when it's that tight, Kathy, it's like it's not always, especially like low volume. You want to scalp half of that maybe. All right, so far it's holding off below. Held off below. Let's see if we get the breaks of these, or if it's gonna pop itself back up. The 5 minute is pushing down pretty strong. 5 minute has a couple barriers to go through, right? It's got that 296, and then it'll have this 90, this candle down here at 90. That's your last bullish candle until 86. You have another one down here. So it is very, very tight. This is very tight. All right. All right. All right. Example. Can you use the purple candle from 1 minute and blue from the 5 minute? So what you could do, and on occasion I've done this, where I'll look at the wider range, right? And I'll look at the levels on the 5 minute range, and I'll just put the lines over here, right? I'll look over here like this, and I'll just move the lines, and I'll make the 1 minute range wider to kind of imitate what I see on the 5 minute. If that's what you're asking, Zero, because I have done that. When the range is on the 5 minute, it's like super wide. I will move my candles just like that. Ooh, look at this. Oh yeah, there's that push. There's that push. Again, right? Would I have gone in on that signal? Personally, no, because of how many levels we have below. But, doesn't make it a bad play. It just makes it risky. But again, I'm going over with you guys how I trade, but you guys can make this your own, right? Your stop loss would have been above 310 if you got in at 302. That's 8 points. That would have been a really nice play right there. Now, if it can hold below here, the next area would be that 5 minute. Let's draw it up over here, right here. This would be your last line of defense. Would be right there, right where it's currently holding off. That's this 5 minute candle right there, 86.50. If it rips through that, all right. Can you go into how you identify the quantum range? Which blue and purples do you mark? I mark them when they are side by side in the same vicinity. So these right here, same vicinity of price, side by side. I don't want them to be like this. I don't want them to be angled. I want them to be flat. That gives me the best quantum range, right? When they're flatlined. You don't want one candle to be up here. You don't want one candle to be down there. All right, look at that. Look where it held. That was your last line of defense, that 86, that blue guy right here. If it broke through that, then we would have had down push. That's where it's deciding to bounce up a little bit right now. Breaking back into my sauce box as well. All right now, the level here, if this 5 minute closes below 301, you're going to have a level creation on the top side. And there it is testing that 301 right now. The DOM is moving super slow, so there's definitely no volume in this at all. What's up, ads? Next, right, the action lines, right? Remember what creates our levels, right? The crossovers. This continues to pull above 300, right? It is downtrending on the 1. Then you could see a potential pull up, but you want to be cautious here because you're going up against a 5-minute cross down. So you want your action lines to line up when you're looking for a potential trade. You don't want one to be going down, one to be going up. So right now they're kind of fighting each other. What I could see potentially happening, and they are kind of separated on the 1. So I could see a challenge up a little bit to maybe that 301, 305 area and then pull itself back down. But if this stays, again, the 5-minute is what's going to hold the strength. If that stays below that 301, good chance we're going to get some more push down. All right. Can you go into identify the quantum range? Yeah, so let's see. So just like on the 5, right? D-side right. This blue candle down here, I won't count this as the range. These two right here, I will count these as the range of this 5-minute. This blue and this purple right here. That would be my range on this one, right? But I would still keep in mind that this one could hold some weight, right? If it holds above it, and then you have another one back here, right? That one back here that can hold some weight where it did bounce off of. But this will be your tighter range. It doesn't mean your range is not going to be wider. I mean, the 5-minute range was super wide over here, just back and forth. And obviously low volume is going to cause a lot of wide, ugly looking range. So I don't like to look at the 5-minute range when there's no volume. I always look at my 1-minute range, right? Just like this little guy right here, right? Boom. That was your range right here. These guys right here, all lined up. And then you see when it finally breaks, break, retest, little push, retest, push, retest, push. And then when it broke back in to the top, broke out, obviously had levels, broke back in like we saw, challenged the whole bottom, right? Again, once it plays a range, you can move from range to range, right? We could delete all this stuff. You don't have to draw all these out, right? You could draw only the current ranges. So you have this range right here that was formed afterwards, right? You have this right here, or you could use this blue guy because it was in the same area. There's your break, there's your retest, there's your push. Then you had this one up here, right? Again, you had not a whole lot of room, but we saw it break, we saw it hold, we saw that push to the levels. It's very, again, be cautious with what we're seeing right now because it is very tight. We are seeing a very tight space because of no volume. So everything looks super clustered up. So let's see if this continues to pull up, can break over 301. Then we can see a potential flip, but there's that 5-minute level, 301, right? When you guys hear me saying, if this can hold below here, if this can hold above here, just like that 301, if it holds below, there's potential, right? But right now, my 1-minute and my 5-minute are not in agreement. I would hold more strength on the 5 than the 1, unless that 301 can get broken through, and then this can get flipped, and then we may see another push up. At the moment, this is the main barrier. All right. Back to back without any candle. No, you can have candles in between. So it doesn't matter if you have candles in between. You just want these candles to appear in that same flatlining area. So you can have candles in between. Like here, right? You have your purple regular candles and blues. This is still a range. The back and forth that you see, the fight, that's your range right there. That blue and the purples. So you can have candles in between, just like here. Candles in between, you still have your blues and purples lined up. You can identify your little quantum range right there as well. The cheapest group. I mean, Scarface, you don't trade with PropFirm? I don't have solid white line at 302.38 like your chart. 302.38. Oh, that's not. This right here, this is orb. That's the midline of orb. So you see the green? That's top orb, midline orb, bottom orb. So that's what that 302.38 is. You're good. Normally I change the colors. I didn't change the colors on the orb. I had to remove it and add it back on because it was acting funny on me. So normally when you guys see my chart, you see the purple, the blue, and the gray, dark gray. Those are usually my orb colors, but I didn't get the chance to change it. So right now you have the green, white, and red regular orb colors. So how do you get multiple boxes in one screen? Oh yeah, this right here, like that. You have to have, I think, I don't know how many premium or essentials, but you go up here to layout setup, and then you can have up to 16, but you need a humongous monitor for that. 16. I never even attempted to look at that. I'm like, just looking at 5 sometimes feels like a bit much. Okay. Can you use a pinpoint time frame to create a range? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Catch up. Hey, Pookies. What's the cheapest group? Okay. Layout setup. I don't have the solid. Okay. Once you create your layout, how you want it to say up? You got it, Tomo. I use Tradeovate, but on TradingView, we need to subscribe. Yeah, but you don't trade on a with a prop, Scarface, like TPT or FFF or Alpha or FN. Is it better to get premium TradingView for the 30? So, oh, you don't? Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you don't trade, because I just signed up, like I have TPT, or if I want to use Alpha or anything, I just log into my Tradeovate with their credentials and it gives me the data. Like I have premium, obviously, but even before when I did it that way. But the subscription to the data is not that expensive. I think it's like $5 a month, I think. If I'm not mistaken, for the CME group. It's 77, Kathy? Damn. Okay. Didn't realize it went up that high. Oh, 84 a year. Wow, okay. Yeah, 7 a month. That's why I kind of thought it was 7 a month. But like, if you paired a whole year, I guess. All right. Here we go. We have a 1 minute little quantum range right here, right? It's breaking out of it at 298. Now it's challenging that 01. It needs to stay above 98, but it's in the tight space. This is how I'm cautious with what I'm kind of trading. There's no volume today, so this is very much more educational because the moves are so freaking tight. So freaking tight right now. There's like nowhere for it to go. And it did not close. Barely closed above right now. I don't play the tip game. That's a running joke on that I do with Power Hour, where we don't play the tip game. If it's just a tip that broke, right? Just a tip that broke. That's not a full clean break. 301 is holding strong. It's holding very, very strong. I do these once a week. I do these every Sunday or Monday, and then I'll sneak in another one. Try to sneak in another one for the Euro gang, because I do it usually at night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and that's like super early for the Euro gang. So I try to sneak in another one every once in a while for them as well. But I do these every week. Like every week, I load up whatever videos that come out. Okay, I try to record as many of them as possible, but a lot of this is repetitive information. The setups are the same. The setups don't change. As you get better at reading quantum, right, you can add little things here and there, right, like that retracement sauce that I've gone over with quantum, with the purple candles that I don't really play on futures. I more so play those on options. I tripled my money on options like a month ago, and I kind of got off of it because I was feeling that urge to keep YOLOing it, and I'm like, no, I gotta stop, because last time I did that, I burned through a lot of money, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again. But the secret sauce for this is these retracements of these candles that have not been retraced. So I look for 50% retracement. So like here, right? If you want to box this up, let me hide this box for now. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit just so it doesn't look like it's too clustered up. Right here, this body, right? You could draw a box to measure it, or you can measure it with the ruler. This center point right here would be the center of that candle body for me. And you could leave it marked, you could leave an alert. This right here eventually will get retraced. Eventually, right? How do I know that? Because this is something that recurs over and over and over again. Will it happen today? Probably not. Does it need to happen today? No, it doesn't. That's why I play this with options only, because I usually buy out a couple days out or a week out. But you'll see the move, and eventually you'll see the retracement over and over and over again. You'll see the move, 50% was left untraced, and look at this, right? Big. This is why I don't like to play in the futures, because that pull down, obviously the volume was low, so the pull down on this was 20 points. It wasn't major because of low volume. But when there's volume, you're going to see sometimes 50, 70, 100 point move before it comes back up and retraces it. And you could go back and you could do this all day, right? Here's another one. Move down. There's your retracement. Let's look for some more. This is the secret menu item again, right? Do I trade this on futures? Not really. 11. There's your retracement. No retracement. Retracement. Over and over and over again. You can do this all day right here at 324. We can mark that bad boy up right here. If it didn't get retraced, eventually it will, right? And look where it rejects. So that's the secret menu item for Quantum. But again, I don't like to play these with futures just because they're not always this tight. A lot of the times, there's a major meltdown. All right, this one went down quite a bit, 329 all the way down to 305. It looks like way more, right? And here's your retracement. Over and over and over again. Here's another one, right? You can see the bowl and the cup and handles, whatever. There's your candle. There's your retracement. Over and over and over again. I used to play these all the time, but they got riskier and riskier the more volatile the market got. So that's that secret menu item. I've been sneaking in because it is something I do play once in a while on options, right? Another one. Boom. Over and over and over again. But again, when do I play these in options? Usually when there's a huge meltdown. A big meltdown, there's more than 100, maybe 200 point separation. And I know eventually it's going to come back to it, right? Another one here. There it is. Over and over and over. You can go back as far as you guys want. You can see this happen over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. All right, let's get back to the chart. Oh, it broke to the downside. Now look at that. 301 held, right? 301 held. 5 minute holds strength over 1 minute. Now you have a stack level formation down. There's a nice 11, 10 point push down for very low volume on just the hold of 301. How often do you do the okay? Everything you need is in. Yep, everything's on my YouTube. I go over everything over and over and over again. But again, it's like nice to see it during live market, right? You can watch my YouTube channel and you can see like we do all the reads during the live market hour. Everything I do, everything I narrate is the same setups. There's nothing that changes. Obviously, the only thing that I include are my confluences, which Softbox is a major one, Orb is a major confluence, anything like that. Yep, there's a PDF pinned in the Quantum chat. Sam put together a really, really nice, very nice manual, like with pictures and everything, explanations of everything. All right, there's that retest of that 295 level. Let's try to form a cross up now to potentially challenge that and retest 301 maybe. Bottom side orb, didn't really touch it, then kind of just bounced. I know my sauce box is in play around here too. Gold, look at gold, right? Gold kind of doing the same thing, right? Stacked level, 1 and 2, held below that 191, right? Literally the same, almost same thing, where just gold's moving a little bit more. So this is why the setups are the same. There's your stack level, there's your sell signal, right? Everything here lining up, holding. If it holds below here, boom, boom, more push down. It's trying to push up now. It's trying to form a cross up to give a little push back up here potentially. And there's that push over 295, right? New crosses close together usually give that little push it needs. And again, this 5 minute can hold above 298, push and challenge that 301. We could get that push back up. But this is a very tight little area it's in. And 952 is a group cross. Let's see, 952. 952 right here. This guy, if you're using bottom side orb as a confluence, it's not bad. I mean, there it goes. Right? Bottom side orb. The only thing, like I mentioned, right, it's very tight. There are levels all over the place. Low volume, short day. You're going to have compressed spaces. This is where people get eaten in the chop. And you can find little tiny opportunities here and there to scalp. But you have to be cautious. Look at your, if you guys use ATR, good idea to use ATR sometimes. I don't personally do it, but you could. You could kind of make it your own little thing. I scalp the same. Everyone knows my TPs, 5 and 10, 5 and 10 and runner. I always let my runners collect the extra. I do the same routine. My psych for me is my previous job. I was a general manager at a restaurant. I averaged $30 to $32 an hour. With 3 micros, the 5 and 10 points gives me my $30 with 3 micros. And I could collect that multiple times within an hour like it's nothing. So that's my psych for doing that. The 5 points is not the main target. The 10 points is the main target. In my coaching session, I go over how that occurred, like the 10 points being my main target, and how I used to play originally with my sizing. And it's still doable. I just, for my mental, my mental stability, as you guys see, I have like anxiety issues when I'm holding onto a trade too long. I do the 5 points to relieve that a little bit, reduce the risk. I'm already okay taking the L anyway, but it just helps. For me, it just helps. It makes it feel more fun. And once I take that guaranteed 5 points, the risk gets brought down quite significantly. Then the main target, the 10 points, and then the runner gives me extra whatever it wants to give me. And I eat off of that all day. You guys have seen my payouts. Very consistent, over and over and over again. I don't need to hit home runs every single day. I easily collect per account about 40 to 50 points per account. Like I'll take 3 to 5 trades per account, then move on to the next account. And then obviously I have my fun accounts. So like I have everything separated. So with Confluence, like the cross, that initial move, give you what, like, you got in down at the bottom, but this wasn't giving me any clean entry point at this point. It was just kind of a bounce off the bottom side orb. You would have gotten your good 10 points there. It's very tight. Now it's holding right. Here's your kind of retest of the level. But I'm cautious with these. I'm cautious with these 2 reasons, right? The blue candle gave you the buy signal. The cross did happen within 1 candle. But I'm always cautious with these crosses that happen below one of my trigger candles, because what happens if it breaks sheer bullish candle? There's a potential of a failed bullish move, right? But doesn't mean the level can't hold. It's just a riskier setup. It's retesting that previous range right now. The 5 minute, there's your 5 minute. Look at your 5 minute is trying to cross up now. Your 5 minute can hold over that 298, and it can form that level to give that potential push over 301. That's what you want to see if you want to see it continue to push up. If it can't, she's going to keep failing that 301. And there's a purple. Well, you know what that means. This purple holds. You got a level 2, so you have the top and the bottom. You have a level above, you have a level below. Very tight. This is a very tight area. Not a fan of it, but it is what it is for low volume. Which other ones? Range Breaker is really good. When the volume's kicking in, PHP is super good. And then MVG when SPX is open. But without SPX, MVGs, you can play gold MVGs here and there. But the MVGs, there's a specific set of MVGs that I prefer over the other. So I look for certain ones. At 5 minutes trying, it's trying. It needs to hold over that 298, 299, and really push over the 301. Do I use trailing stops? When I hit my TPs, yes. So I always have my stop set, right? When I play on the DOM, right? I'm a super DOM trader. I don't trade off the chart. I use the DOM as an extra confluence too, because when a level is approached, you see reaction on the DOM. The DOM will start speeding up. When I say my DOM's going crazy, the DOM starts speeding up and it gets jumpy. So it just starts going, and then starts getting jumpy. That's when I say my DOM's going crazy, so there's going to be a reaction there. So it's either going to rip right through it or it's going to bounce right off of it. And it's like that extra confluence that I always look for with the DOM. It's just chopping around. Gold's pushing itself back up slowly. NQ is just stuck in this little bottom area, choppy zone. All right. So it's very slow. Very, very slow. Oh, that I didn't realize that purple candle disappeared, but this one's still valid, and this one lined up with that one. Not a fan of this one being up here and this one being down here, though. But it's still pretty flat. Another blue. It's showing like it wants to give a push up, but this 5 minute needs to start holding above 98. This 5, I want to see it start really pushing 98 and holding above it. If not, if these start failing, these bullish moves start failing, we may see some more push down. Gold's pumping right now. Ooh, look at gold's wicks. Gold needs to break over and hold over that 88.50. What time does the market end today? I think 1 p.m. I think it closes at 1 p.m. It's incredible how you scalp. I remember for Power Hour, I saw you catch a bottom wick of a level in less than a second. Yeah, I do. I catch those. I catch those a lot, Starkilla. Like if you go back and you watch my old videos, like those old ones I used to post up, I still catch them from time to time, like over and over again. I look for the same setups. Like they happen in the blink of an eye when they really pop. Like when you can narrate consistently, right? This is how I do it. When I narrate Power Hour just like I narrate to myself. Like I used to narrate to my wife when I'm like, oh, this happens here, this is blah, 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 blah. This should happen, boom, boom. I do that over and over and over again. And when you can narrate and you're like, okay, I usually keep a notepad or something. All right, I called 8 out of 10 plays narrating it. Okay, this happened, boom, boom, boom. Okay, beautiful. And you get comfortable with it. You just start playing off of it. Okay, this is hit my buy or sell, put my stop loss where it is, and take the play. That's part of it. But when you can start narrating consistently, you start catching those, like left and right. Like like I have a lot of old content, and I still, like I said, I still catch them when I'm trading by myself. But usually that occurs during a specific time. The majority of them occur during a specific time. Obviously, I don't, I kind of go over that with my students, like my most profitable times and everything. But you're never going to see like me with super flashy numbers, especially on funded accounts. All my funded accounts, my numbers are pretty consistent. I went live with FFF, just hitting 300, 250, 300. Were all those locked? Let me take a look. Let me see if all my FFF. I know they were all locked, but I want to see if I can still see the data. Because all those were locked up. Verification email. So when I play the chop, right, as soon as I identify where the bottom of it is and have a level, right, if the bounces are good enough, every time it approaches, I tend to scalp it. And I only do that maybe 2 to 3 times, and then I stop because the more it challenges it, the kind of weaker it'll tend to get. Doesn't mean it'll break. It's just I play it cautious. So like, okay, I caught it a few times. I'm gonna stop. But you'll quickly start identifying these ranges and how often they go back and forth, especially when you have levels involved. And then the minute it hits that level and then it starts to hold above, that's where you know it might be ready to pop. But you want to see it break, retest, hold, and then it'll see it usually it'll continue and go. It'll close in 2 hours and 53 minutes. Oh shoot! So it's gonna close at 12. No wonder it's super dead. It's closing in 2 hours. I thought that it was gonna close at 1. No, that's 3 hours. So that is 1 o'clock. That is 1 o'clock. Okay, never mind. I looked at the time. It said 12 down there, and it's just you're in a different time zone. Back up to the top. All right, let me see if I can see this data. Back and forth. See for the bottom. Bounced once here, twice here, came down, didn't hit the bottom, bounced again, right? But it's just tight. This is like 5 points at a time. There's not a whole lot. You want to see it start holding above 98 and close above, then really break out of this. If we're going to see this potential 5-minute push up. Oh no, they took all my accounts away. So my Locked, locked, locked. But I can't see the data anymore. Oh man, I can't see the data anymore. There's no active accounts. I can't see any. Oh wait, hold on. Inactive accounts? Would it be in here? See 83. That's one of them. Oh yeah, here they are. Okay, sweet. Doo-doo. Where's the other one? Right there. All right. And then where's this one? Count metrics, analysis, and then this one. And we all have bad days. I had one bad day on this account, and then never let myself have a bad day on this one again. So here we go, right? Just hitting base hits. This month I took out like over 10K with FFF. And then I'm roughly about, right here's the FFF data. And then with alpha, I'm roughly sitting at around 6, 7. Because I always take out what I got after the 5 days. You know, those are, you know, they add up. They add up fast, and I don't trade any of these together. Okay, here we go. There's that break. Let's see if this 5 minute right here, this will form potentially a buy signal too. This is lining up for a buy signal. This can rip through 301 and hold above it. Right, level held, everything held. A lot of buying pressure here, a lot of bullish candles. There's your push up. Now 301 needs to break. There's your buy signal on the 5 minute. This needs to hold above 297.50. This needs to hold above here. It needs to rip through there. Did I say 6-7? Ah, freaking 6-7. Boozy and his 6-7. He was like spamming the student channel 6-7, 6-7. And then my son, so freaking everyone young. All right, there's the attempt. Currently failed to hold, but 297. This is very tight. 297 and 301. It was a very tight area. All right. Now you want to, yep, so everything's lining up. They can hold over here, break that 301 and hold. Then we say, and obviously we also have midline. Then we'll have a test of this purple candle right here. Well, it has to break through it. It needs to hold above it. So it's a very tight area. If it gives up 297, back into the range. And more watching paint dry. But is everyone understanding the basics, right? What triggers the buy and sell signals, right? The crossovers inside of those colored candles, right? When there's volume, just like during the morning show when Max was showing the indicator on the 30-second, on the 1 minute. I haven't traded on the 30-second in a while. It's been a while. I just start looking at it again, and when the volume kicks in during the morning, it looks pretty damn good. But I look for confluences and I look for entries on the 1 minute. I used to trade the 30-second. Like my early content on YouTube is 30-second videos, the 30-second chart. All right, there's more push. Oh, there it goes. There's the challenge of that candle right there. There's the 50% retracement. Remember? Let's see. Let's draw out the line on this. Let's see where the 50% retracement on this candle is. Oh, look right there. It already did it. There it is. 50% retracement on the money at 305. What was it? 304.75. Very close. There's that 50%. Boom. Now it needs to break through that if it wants to challenge the rest of it. There it goes. See if it can continue to retrace all of it, or if it's gonna stall out some or not. It looks like it wants to keep going. Is everyone tracking? I know we got a lot of new people here. If you have questions, please ask. Right? Ask here, ask in the quantum chat. I love answering questions. If you guys take plays and they didn't play out, screenshot. Kathy is a testament to what asking constant questions leads up to. She was one of the few that took me seriously when I said, screenshot your plays, post them up, and let's break them down. She has been on a freaking hot streak because she was the one that would post. I got into 4 plays today, 2 wins, 2 L's. What happened on the 2 L's? We would break it down. And she's been killing it the last couple weeks. If you go in there, just look for her posts, you'll start seeing them. If you go back the last few weeks, you're going to start seeing where she would post all her wins and losses. Oh, this one didn't play, and you would see us answer. I would answer, Sam would answer, and other students who understand the strategy would answer, and that also helps them. When you answer questions, that helps you dig it into your brain. Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, this is what happened. You missed this, you missed that. It helps. Oh, I don't eat breakfast. Well, yeah, today I did eat breakfast. My wife made scones. I did eat breakfast today. But I don't normally eat breakfast. My stomach's already kind of like hurting a little bit too. But Kathy is one of the few that took me seriously. There she is. And I told her, exactly. I tell everybody. She said, closed mouth doesn't get you fed. Post your losing trades. Don't be embarrassed because you have a losing trade. We all lose trades. I lose trades, right? I've lost trades in Power Hour. It happens. It's part of the process. Learning to lose is a huge part of the process. That's going to help you grow. Trust me, like the setups are there. You need to understand it. You'll be able to follow me way better in Power Hour when you can fully understand it. Yeah, exactly. We all blow accounts. We all get losses. Like, look, I posted that one, right? That one day on the alpha account, right? I had a minus 1,087. What saved me on that day, though, because I was kind of feeling tilty that day, was the daily loss limit. And then they got rid of the daily loss limit. And then I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. And then the rest of the days, I was like, bloop, 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 just hitting my hits. All right. Now it's just hovering here, right? It's failing to continue to break over 305 and more retracement. So it is kind of stalling out, but it is holding above still. All right, broke out of the range. You saw the beautiful break, retest, your push, right? This is what quantum ranges are. This is how you would play them. Right, break, retest, go, right? Wish it was more points, but with the given circumstance, it's still not horrible considering how tight things look. The best entry would have definitely been down here on testing this level. You would have been up pretty good amount on that. But it's so tight. If you're feeling unsure, don't take the trade. I'm not going to take that trade. Like, oh, it looks good. Okay, yeah, but there's still levels above. It's very tight. I'm not 100% on it. I'm not going to take it, right? But if the risk is low enough and you're okay taking the L, take it. It's a part of the process. You're going to learn how to lose. You're going to learn how to size. I traded on my laptop, a screenshot from the phone. Yeah, there you go, Kathy. I don't know if this is sauce, but could you show an example of 3 confluences lining up? Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like the sauce box, like it's not even on the chart right now, right? Sauce box is not on the chart right now, so I'm not going to use it, right? Confluences, right? You got bottom side of orb respected, bottom side of orb respected, right? What else do we have? A new, right? Structure, right? A new higher low, right? Higher low, level creation, level holding, right? Bottom orb, higher low, that's 2. Level creation, 3. Blue candles, 4, right? The only thing I didn't like was that we were so in between levels, right? 301, everything was stacked up. That's the only thing I didn't like. But you had multiple confluences here. right? 1 minute and 5 minute action lines pointing up, 5. You had multiple. You had multiple, right? Like I said, the only thing I didn't like is just how tight it was. I don't like how tight it is. So I'm gonna wait off on it. That's just me, right? We're low volume. That's just a part of the process. I'm not looking for like 5 points. I'm looking for 10. That's what I look for, right? 5 is the risk reduction. I'm looking more for 10. There are times in Asia where sometimes 5 is your 10, and you have to be okay with that. But when I don't trade Asia, when it's like watching paint dry, when your 5 point play takes 10 minutes to play out, I'm not going to do that, you know? So you have to be understanding of when to catch a trade, when to not. Asia gold is freaking amazing. I love gold on Asia because gold flows like NQ does during Asia, right? Like you can see what the 2 minute level creation here. I have two. Oh my gosh, no wonder this looks funky. I have two 1 minute charts up on gold. I see the 2 minute level right here, and then the push up. There it is. Look at that. Gold. There's your 2 minute level creation. Oh, just hope it happens to be with a blue candle. There's your buy signal. There's your retest. There's your push up. Right? Same exact patterns, same exact setups on every single chart. Like the setups, everything's identical. I remember I played that one that one play I played. Well, I did kind of an old play on that QCOM call that I did. I completely forgot about it, honestly. When I saw that I was up 2,300 on that one contract that I bought for like $120, I forgot about it because over the weekend we pumped up, but I was playing an old setup based on the purple candle, the retracement. It's a setup that rarely appears. Why does max points from current price do again? So that shows you your levels. So you can clean up your charts, right? If you don't want a whole bunch of levels, let me zoom in on the 1 minute, right? Like right now, I don't have a whole bunch of levels too close, right? This is all I got right there. Actually, this is a lot of levels. Let me zoom out more. All right, if I want to clean it up, right, I have it set to 500. I just wanted to put it to 100. Let's actually put it to 50 because these are kind of really tight. 50, some of these levels will disappear. The ones that are within 50 points will stay. The ones that are over 50 points will disappear. So if you only want to see the levels that are close by, the less points you put in it, the less you'll see. That's what that does, right? The look back days is just how back you want to see. There is unfortunately a lock with freaking TradingView's data for the 1 minute chart, which is annoying. That doesn't look back a whole lot. So when there's like a huge move down and it hasn't been down there in over 30, 40 days, the levels don't show up. But I use the 5 minute levels, and then I'll use 2 or 3 minute levels on those particular. There was one day where we had 0 levels, not even I had levels. And I changed this to 120 days, nothing. And I went back to my 2 minute and 3 minute, and I just started applying levels. And some of the 2 minutes held. They don't always hold, but it gives you something on these. So it's just a TradingView thing. They just don't go that far back on the 1 minute chart, which is annoying. Even I have premium, so it's just one of those things. But that's what that does. This is for your table. I don't use the tables. If you are looking at multiple screens, right? If you have your 1 minute and 5 minute or your 1 minute and 2 minute with gold, you don't need the table up, right? The table I use if I'm single screen trading and I want to see what the next time frame is doing without me having to flip back and forth. That's what the table is for. If you have your 1 and your 5 minute, your 2 main time frames that I'm looking at on NQ, I don't have it up. So that's me. That's why you don't see the tables on there. You can change your colors to whatever you want, right? These should be set automatically. The signals, these are what trigger your signals. Everything else doesn't matter to me. You can filter for chop and things like that, but it does mess with the signals. You're not going to see a lot of good signals with that. Like I dropped it down to just the basic. What do I look for? What's my basic setup, right? The trigger candle, which is the blue or purple candles, and then the filter for signal cross, right? The crossovers into those candles within one candle. So that's what I'll see here is max bar since trigger candle within one, max bar since signal cross within one. Those are what the ones I want to see. Now, if they cross behind them, right, and they're like 3-4 candles behind, it's still okay. It might not trigger the buy or sell, but as long as that level is attached to one of your candles, it is still okay. I just don't want to see like them signaled out all the way because sometimes they don't sometimes they don't signal correctly. So I leave that as is. Okay, so went over a little bit of that for y'all. All right. Looks like that's all she wrote. So she pushed up to 307, so she did challenge some more of it, but that was it. She couldn't really challenge the whole thing. So she might come back to retest down here if she breaks through midline. Gold is ripping over its orb. 5 minute is potentially setting up for a 3-bar if it can stay over 300. But then needs to break over 306 and hold. But the low volume is just bleh, bleh, you know. And if the uptrend holds, right, this is where I use the cloud as well, right? It did break the little red over here at 302. If this uptrend can continue to hold and this purple candle gets broken above, failed bearish move, that's a strong indication that the trend is going to start flipping up or continue to go up, right? And the higher time frame, it might start flipping soon if it can continue to hold and destroy every bearish candle that forms. The 5 minute is still downtrending. All right. Yeah, that's not what's slow. That's just a part of the holiday low volume, right? That's why I wanted to do this today, because I'm like, I know it's gonna be slow. At least I can go over some stuff, not on new people in here. You know, get them a little taste of what the live study sessions look like. Yeah, you're set to 600. You can have it set to whatever you want, Circular. I had it set to 1,000 a couple days ago because those moves were just crazy. How do you take the table off? Ah, you go to style. You go to style, and then down here where it says tables, right? There it is, right? If I put it right there, there's my table. Uncheck it, table's gone. That's how you remove the table. All right, looks like it held midline. There's, okay, let's see. See if it failed. If it breaks through that 307, same idea. You want to see a breakthrough. We went over this on this. If you guys haven't watched the last study session I just uploaded yesterday, watch that. We went over these. If it breaks through this, right, this bearish candle, if it breaks through it and holds, that's your failed bearish move on an uptrend. If it does it, right now we still got this big boy over here. We still got this big boy over here. So you have to be cautious. Obviously, you have to be aware a little bit, but you still have that big boy little by little. Each time it makes a new one and it breaks through it, it's going to eat up on this guy. But currently it wicked twice at the same area. And again, 5 minutes downtrending too. Could you explain the mid candle retracement again on the big candles and how you practice to use it? So on futures, I don't use it a whole lot, right? I just use it as a potential indication of where it could go to if there's room for it to go. Obviously, there were a bunch of levels there. Remember, there was a 301 level there on the 5 minute that did eventually rip through. But these on futures, I'm not a big fan of playing just because there's a high chance. Let's go back to, let me go back. Let me get rid of some of these lines so I can clean this part up. And I'm going to zoom in on the one, and I'm going to show you why these are risky to play on futures. Because sometimes there's going to be a huge drop that could be hundreds of points before it gets retraced. All right, 187, right? Look at this, right? Here's one right here, right? 189 came all the way down to 118. So that's like 70 points, 70-point drop, right? The way I used to play this, I used to wait for a 20-plus point drop to begin an entry. And I used to play this with minis. I have not really attempted to play this with micros, but I also don't like to get into too much drawdown. So the way I used to play this before, where this is kind of similar to MVG, right? If you guys have the MVG indicator, it's very similar. You wait for a gap to form, you wait for separation, you wait for your first two directional candles to go in the direction you want, right? So it would be your first two greens, which would have been here. So this technically would have been an entry at what? 78, but that's only 10 points. I'm not looking for that. I want more than that. So if it drops down more, I'm going to wait for the next opportunity, right? Right here. This will be your opportunity if you play it like MVG. But the way I used to play it, I used to play for 20 points or more. So I would be, what, I would look for the midlines, 94. So I would look for a 74. So it would have been around here potentially, but then it keeps melting, and you'll be like, oh shit, I'm super red. And if you play it the other way, you have a potential entry point down here. Or I'll sneak in a little bit of NVG indication into this with the NVG indicator. So you look for your 2 green candles to potentially go into fill. This would have been an entry point, not an entry point for me that I'm interested in. Down here, much better. 2 green, I would look for an entry down here. And obviously it came down a little bit more, came down, and then eventually made its little way up. Right there, there's your retracement. You would have collected, if you got in at 37.40, that's 50 points, right? It's pretty good. The problem with this is where I'm going to go into some of it, right? Well, this one did get retraced right there, that there are going to be days where there's a huge meltdown, and that candle will not be retraced until the following day, or sometimes not for the next couple days if the meltdown continues. So that's why these are risky, and that's why I play these with options instead of futures. So I'm going to look for one that did not get retraced. I might not find one because the last couple of days it hasn't been horrible. Like this one right here. This one happened at 1:32 p.m. right before the close. Right here. Let's put a little line through it. Let's just put like right there. It's not a little lower than the mid. Right here, right? This happened at 1:32 p.m. on Thursday. Look at that huge meltdown, right? We're up here at 456. It came all the way down to 24, 200 plus points, and it did not retrace that same day, right? This is why this is risky. Look, market closed down here. The retracement happened, boom, right there in the middle of the day on Friday. So if I bought an option close to the close, right before the market closed down here, for a long for the next day, I would have eaten on that. That would have came all the way back up, right? Even in the market open. And this is why I buy them out a couple days out or a week out. Had an opportunity to maybe add. There's your retracement. I would have been really nicely green on that. But again, this happened Thursday at 1:30. Retracement happened Friday at 1:49 p.m. Right? The next day. Catching this on a prop, you're going to get burned. You're going to be in red. You're going to close the day in red, right? If you're on a personal account and you have a heck of a lot of room for that drawdown, you might be okay. You can hold it forever. There's that retracement. All right, let's go back up. Let's see if that meltdown that happened, right? Let's see if that meltdown left one. Nope, that one got retraced halfway already before it pulled down. This one got retraced, and then this one got retraced. Yeah, not all the way, but still close enough for me. Like when it's close enough, like yeah, that's halfway. That's pretty much halfway. Like anything like that, that's close enough. I consider that a retracement. This is no longer valid. It needs to be completely left alone. Like completely untraced, like that, like naked, nothing, no wick, no nothing. Then your retracement. That's what you want to see. Like a complete fair candle left by itself. All right. Something that's obviously not been retraced. Then you see a retracement. Another one up here, right? This guy up here. This one occurred at 2:35 a.m. on Thursday, got retraced over here 6 hours later. 6 hours later. All right, and that's something you guys can easily go back and back test. You'll see how some of these are super duper risky. The 1 minutes are the ones I love the most. The 30 seconds are also another one that play out pretty well. But they're a great little added tool for options that I do play on occasion. Again, like I tripled my money doing that a couple times. It just requires patience, and I'm not like a patient guy, so I don't really play it a whole lot. All right. Yeah, look at that. Failed to fully break that purple candle. That's where your meltdown happened. Nice rejection there. Gold's also rejecting off a level at 93. Now this is looking like it's going to form a level cross down. There's your purple candle on the 5 minute. It's actually not that, the price is not moving very, very much, but it's flowing still pretty okay. It's not horrible. Like this candle held beautifully. Even if you got in on this guy, like on the retest, and you had your stop loss up here, you would have been okay. You would have caught a nice little move there. That's like a super low risk play right here, just to hold that. Or even if your stop loss was up here, that's still like a 5-point risk on this play right here. So it's not horrible. What's goals used? Yeah, MGCZ6. Yeah. Let me see. It's MGCG. I'm sorry, bro. It's here. This is the one that matches with the chart. Here, I just screenshotted it because this is the one that matches with the price action that you have on the chart. All right. Can the large candle midlines be reasonably used as a potential profit target? Yes, it can. Again, just be cautious with that, right? Like I said, there's not a guarantee it's going to get retraced that same day or that moment. But I used to use them as profit targets. I would have them lined up as targets before. Yeah, Trader Ray, that's option sauce. I'm gonna make a video on that. I have dabbled with it on my Robinhood. I mean, I turned 500 into 1500 in a couple of weeks doing that. When I see, like, I always scomb at the end of the day. I scomb through it. If there's a good significant drop, I'm like, ooh, let me see if any untraced purple candles were left. And then I'm like, oh, there's one right there. So I'll buy contracts out for a couple days, or if it's on a Friday, it'll obviously be next week. But I always, on occasion, not always. I pulled out all my Robinhood money because I was telling my wife I'm getting the itch, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let myself get the itch again. Awesome trade. Yeah, I caught a little. There was an opening where Tesla had the perfect short 5 minute on the 5 minute. It had the purple crossover everything. I caught a really nice short on one Tesla contract. I made like $500 on just because I was just like, ooh, let me test it, and it like dropped like $15 or something. Like, here, let's go over. Let's see if I can find it. It's gonna be on this chart actually. Let's see if I can find it. I mean, you can see it right here. Look, the 5 minute on Tesla is like look at this buy signal and everything. But obviously the cross happened in front, so you want to be cautious. All right, same idea. Bigger candles. Be careful on the bigger candles. Right, here's a nice one here as well. When you have levels that hold, right? Boom. Let's see if I can find that one. I forgot when it was. So see the cross behind. Nice move down. Little choppy chop. There. Look at that one. 12:10. I think it was this one. If I'm not mistaken, it was this one right here. Like it was at 12 o'clock. So this is the one. Right, you have a nice one here, nice one there. You got your range. Everything the same way. Oh, look at that one. Look at that beauty. At 3:50 p.m. right before the close. Little buy before it. Boom. Right. Little range, little chop. You can see your 5 minute levels hold up top. Ugly. When they're like this, be cautious when the EMAs tighten up like this. I don't like to look at anything when they're like that stuck together. It gives you kind of that choppy play. Nice little buy there. Obviously uptrending. Be careful when it's uptrending. Just broke. So here's a little lesson on this. When you break a downtrend, don't look for an immediate reversal because that uptrend is going to get tested. And if it holds that uptrend like it did right here, right? If you put your little line at the red cloud right there, held, there's your bounce. There's your failed bearish move. There's your continuation up. Big candle, retracement obviously, but the same ideas apply, right? This is the 5 minute time frame, right? Retraced, right? Everything falls the same. Were there any of those purples that didn't get, like, look at this, like no retracement, retraced. Even on the 5 minute, it does the same thing. Let's see if we can find some more, right? No retracement here. Did this get retraced? Let's draw a line through it. Right there. Here's another one right here. Here's another one right here. You can already see them. Boom, boom, retracement 1, retracement 2, retracement 3. There you go. Look at that. And this is on the 5 minute. So that's the option sauce with Quantum, which is a unique little option sauce, but it is fun to play with. Cautious on the big candles. Cautious on the big candles. Caution when it flips the trend. You'll see how it flips. Bigger candles tend to get retraced. That got retraced immediately. This level down here held. So what other tickers do you use options for? QCOM, let's go to QCOM. All right, QCOM does the same thing, right? QCOM retracement. Right, you can see when these failed bearish moves, failed bullish moves, here's a level. Obviously got rejected here, downtrending. Here's your little range, broke the range. There's your down push. All right, nice one here, nice one there. Bigger purple, be cautious. There's your retracement. There's your retracement. There's your retracement. All right, just happens at a high rate. Where was that? Here it is. Here's that, look at that right here. Never got retraced. So eventually this is going to get retraced. There's a big one up here. This came down big time though. Ooh, that's a huge move down. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I'm going to leave an alert here. I'm going to leave an alert here. This is a 5 minute that has not been retraced. But I haven't kept up with QCOM's news lately, so I know they had some slight issues. But there's decent moves on them. You can see how the levels hold everything, right? Levels down here, bounce, bounce, boom, 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 bounce, 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 comes back. So you can go back and you can look at the same area, same levels as before from way back there, bounce there again. Like it flows the same way. 5 level sell, boom, 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 ranges, everything. Right before the market closed, look at that. Nice drop. Back into this little range. I am curious about that one that's all the way up there at 189 though. That's been left alone. Let me look at it on the 1 minute. I like the 1 minute retracements more than the 5 minute. Let me go look at this. 189. That one's kind of been retraced already. Yeah, see this one right here? This one got retraced already too. That retracement was over there, right? Yep, right here. So where's that 189? That was all the way up here. Let me take a look up here. That's already been retraced. Yeah, it's all the way up here, right here. I'm going to take a look at QCOM's contracts. I might buy one for like maybe a leap. Maybe a leap year. 193. Oh, man. I'm going to take a look at QCOM's data, though, before I do that. That's a $30 move up. I'll see, because that's what I scour. I scour things like that. I scour for those. That would be a humongous move up, though. All right. So there's some sauce. Oh, is NQ melting down? There's some option sauce. I don't go over a lot of options. Oh, look at that. Now, whoa, what's that volume? It's kind of moving now. Hold on, let me check my MNQ. Yeah, look at that. My DOM's slightly moving faster than it was before. So that's some nice little, option sauce for you guys right there. And major like Apple, Google, Tesla, obviously. I've looked at Costco, Which other ones? It's been a while since I looked at a lot of them. Like I like Tesla when it has volume, moves beautifully. And look where it bounced. 92.50, right? You have the little crack. The next one ripped down. Then as soon as it closed back above, this is where I would scalp potential break above a level to hold with the lines. Oh man, this would have actually been a really nice play. This is the action. This is a level action lines guiding you everything for a nice push up. Right here, picture perfect action line play. This would have been your entry point. Would have been anywhere around here, 293, 295. Stop loss could have been this candle, or it could have been a break of that level. That would have been a really, oh man, oh well, whatever. We got to go over some option sauce for you guys, so that's a rare thing. I don't explain a whole lot about. And again, bottom side orb. And guess what? New higher low, right? Look at that. One ring wheel. All right, y'all. We've been here for like an hour and a half. Time flies. I hope y'all learned a little bit of something. I'm gonna scour this video later. Make sure it looks good. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. It was I have fun on the charts, so I enjoyed spending this time with y'all. If you guys have any questions, please ask him in the quantum chat, right? Post your losing trades. If you guys are not understanding something, post them in the quantum chat. We are very active in there. We try to teach everyone, right? This is why if you're a subscriber to Quantum, you're going to get to see me every week. You're going to get to learn on the YouTube videos. We go over this over and over and over again, right? The end goal is for you guys to see these moves and these setups on your own, to be able to capitalize them, know your risk, know where your stop loss is going to be. Everything is set here, right? No one should be guessing where the stop loss is. No one should be guessing when a play is dead. You should know when a play is dead. And if you're not sure, ask those questions, right? Each study session we come up, have questions ready for me. I read over the chat, just like you all got to see. I go over the chat. I like to look where everyone is stuck on. And I like to answer those questions. My goal is to have a little army of successful traders, because if I was able to make a living off of this just using this strategy, there's no reason no one else can, right? I've been doing this for a long time now with Quantum. Obviously, it's a strategy I built up. And with the Mastermind course and everything I learned from Max, I was able to really hone in on the actual movements a lot better. That's why I teach here. All right, my one-on-ones go over the sauce box and a little more detail into some of the actual max strats that play really well. SPX reading, I use SPX reading a lot, and that's just an added confluence, right? The better confluences, the more confluences you have, the better the setups tend to be, right? I look for three. The more, the better. The stronger you'll feel about the setup. That's what you guys got to view. You guys got to look at it, narrate it, right? Narrate it like I narrate it. All right, if this holds here, if this does this, if it comes back, if it breaks here, it should retest this. And let's see if the action lines start going up. Okay, if this keeps holding here, we should see a push up. Oh, there's a push up. Cool. Right? Then you start forward testing. And back testing is fun and all, but I love to forward test. Forward testing because you want to see it happen over and over and over again in live time. All right, I'm going to scroll back just to make sure I answered anything after Meggles, like midline, the mid of the purples, waiting for Milton NQ, gold short started playing out. What other tickers you use? Yeah, so I answered that. A lot of us blow accounts because of going into heavy with cons. All right, looks like someone answered that, Star Killer. So 50K accounts, I don't go more than 6 micros, man. I keep it around 6. I do go to 9 on occasion on evals when the risk is less than 8 points. And only on evals. I'm pretty strict on my funded accounts, unless they're the F around to find out accounts, which I do tend to go to 9 on occasion, but the same rules, usually less than 5 points or 8 points on those. Yeah, 3 to 5, exactly. It's 3 to 5 micros on a 50K, and I go to 6, but 3 to 5, like when I first started this, it was with 5, and I did a lot of damage with that. Got it, Kathy. All right, JD. Tekken, EC, Maggle, Slice, I Am Oakland, Justified Rage. Awesome, brother. Glad to have that PDF. Thanks, Sam, for that. He put in some great work in that. Funzumi, printing in pink. Trader Ray, Monty. Who else is in here? Trina, happy Thanksgiving. Tunda. The PDF is linked. It's in the pinned messages in the quantum chat. Just go up to the little pin. Everything will be in there. Scroll down. You'll start seeing where the PDF and everything in there is. If it's not at the top, I think it's at the top, so it should be up there. All right, Monty. Take your time, guys, right? This is a strategy. Remember, this is a strategy. It's not just your regular run-of-the-mill indicator. It is a whole strategy. There are multiple setups you can play. You can just play one. Take your time to learn each one. Don't try to master everything at once. You're going to overwhelm yourself. Just play the A++ setups, right? Have your confluence like, okay, this is my A++ setup. I'm at bottom of orb. I'm here. I have, if you use fibs, I got my fib here. I got this, boom, boom. There's 4 confluences. I'm going to take this. Here's my stop loss. Let's see what happens, right? Line up your confluences. You could add your own personal confluences to it. It gives extra nice little thing. I have a lot of Llama students in here who use the fibs with those candles. The candle reads the exact same way I would, the exact same way I do around orb and everything. You got it, Trader Ray. Thank you very much. You too. All right, Salvi. Have a good one. Thank you, Star Killer. You too. R dropped. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, brother. You got it, bro. Welcome to the gang, man. All right, everyone. Tomo, Slice, Arnold, Tom. Let's see who I haven't seen. Harry Lizard, Matt Tom, Mike, Fong, Alejo, Tudor, DL Trades, Bane, Manzumi, Monty, Yuri, Elvis, Gumby, every one of you, Nicholas, Big Smoke. All you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys Sunday or Monday. All right, I'll announce it when I come back on. We'll do another one of these. All right. So happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Peace out. All right, bye, JD.